We have Poetry Aloud. There's going to be quite a gathering on stage, so if you could all make your way up here. We're going to give you some, this is the one where we've got some slides, hopefully soon. These are all Ekphrastic poems. These are all based on artworks or sculptures or whatever. And Derek Adams ran a workshop for us to give us 14 different ways of writing Ekphrastic poems. So there's quite a selection here. We're going to start with Ian Speed.
Good afternoon. The first poem is called The Wolf and the Crown Sculpture, which you can see behind me. There's a couple of things to say about it. One is that you'll notice that there's something missing from the sculpture, and that's the actual King Edmund's head. It was left out of the sculpture as being too gruesome. And the second thing to say is that the head was actually retrieved or retrieved by the wolf. The wolf actually told the townspeople where to go and find the head. So the wolf and the crown sculpture, it's from 3 points of view. The first one is the wolf. It would have been nice to have left the head on the stick, something to gnaw on at least. What do you expect me to do sitting here? Silently howl to the moon, pining for home, ponder the extent of the Milky Way. Perhaps you think it's impossible. An inanimate object can be having a conversation with you. But that would mean you have no imagination. And remember, I told you where to find the king's head. And then from the artist. What is this that I've created? Started with lumps of wood and wrought iron, some stones, put them together rather cleverly, sold them to the council for quite a bit of money. Feeding the legend is how they described it. They seemed very pleased with themselves and their artistic interpretation. And now the wolf has started talking to me, complaining about its life, wants to go back home. Many say good riddance. And then thirdly, the observer. As an independent observer, I can understand the wolf's point of view. Who wants to sit in the middle of a traffic circle, unable to get off or even walk around, sucking in unacceptable levels of diesel fumes? He came here with the best of intentions, seek a better life, improve his family's lot, integrate with a caring community, serve his king. How was he to know how badly it would all end for him and his king as marauders came to power? Thank you.
I'm sure you've probably all seen this sculpture as you've gone into Bury St Edmunds. So this is from St Edmunds' point of view. They lied. They said it would help my migraines. What do they know about the headaches of a king? No one takes any notice of what I want, except the wolf, the only loyal subject I have. You can trust a wolf. As for these acupuncturists, I don't think so.
Moving down the road to Bristol, this very short poem celebrates, close together in time now, both the 14th century St Mary Redcliffe Church and Grayson Perry's amazing modified Harley-Davidson called Patience. A motorbike famously with his teddy bear Alan Measles in a shrine on the back. Patience was part of a recent exhibition of Perry's work at the Bristol Arnolfini. The poem is called Deck. Deck, Pevsner's abbreviation for decorated, as many of you will know, refers to that architectural period that Bristol St Mary Redcliffe does perfectly. It's an extraordinary phase of art around the early to mid-1300s and was peculiarly English Gothic, straight after the period called Early English. Deck. Curvilinear, in an early English summer of love, placed India, Mexico, hot in winter churches. Now, flying down the road from St Mary Redcliffe to the Arnolfini, patience, all pink and deck.
Good afternoon. Many years ago, too many I think, 30, perhaps even 40, I went into an art gallery at Westcliff-on-Sea, the Beecroft, and I saw a painting entitled September Morning by Edward Sago, a very famous painter, a portrait painter as well, who's painted many members of the royal family. But it was so evocative of autumn that even after all these years, every time we creep into the season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, this particular painting is ingrained in my mind. September Morning. The 20th of August, and that feeling is upon us. That mute and mellow sense of summer's ending, where sound is doves and bees and stridulation, and willow herb and thistledown are scuffed by breezes that one scarcely calls a breath. The harvest fields are gilded, the air a lactic blue, and summer's heat but residues of silence, where swallows keep their station on the wires and ploughshares open up the dying earth. Blackberries, sloes, damsons. The world is turning purple. A painting by Edward Sago, September Morning, where gold infusions liquefy the mist and love is truly tangible. Fear not the wasp, the diminutive tetchy tiger. This is the weather for saints and angels. There is no sting in fecundity, no hurt in succulence.
My picture is by Peter Bruegel the Elder. My village is actually much a better village than this one. This is actually going through a really hard time. This picture is a sequence of the months of the year. Most of the months of the year have been lost. This is January, and this village is really in for a hard time. Mine is about the hunters coming down from the snow line. So let's drop into the fold of this valley. We're almost splintered from the cold, our fingers and our feet like ice, our breath congealed in our beards. Maybe it'll prove to be the town where apricots and fat hens scratch along the streets. You know there'll be fresh cooked meats and warm fires and sweet spiced wine. We know it's going to stink, all towns do. We know they'll be after our money, that's their job. And the girls, what can you say? They'll name a price and we'll pay. In daylight, little boys will follow us around. We'll give them copper coins. The dogs will join in sniffing at our boots and lurch away when we turn to them. We'll walk around catching the whiff of the middens, looking at the pigs, the potted plants, moss green shingles, the cracked doors and the decorated tiles. Then maybe, just maybe, whilst there's still time, we'll take off again to the clean chill of the wilderness, into, then above, the tree line.
Patrick Sadler is a member of the Guild of Aviation Artists and lives in Barnardiston in Suffolk. His paintings largely depict Second World War aircraft, often, though not exclusively, on well-known missions. A B-24 bomber took off from Lavenham Airfield on the 20th of May 1944, bound for Liège in occupied Belgium, in heavy fog. Engine number 2 failed, and pilot Everett F. Goter's efforts to turn the aircraft around failed. The plane crashed and caught fire in woods close to Kentwell Hall in Long Melford. Of the crew of 10, 6 lost their lives, one of whom later died of his wounds. This is called Goethe's Crew. B-24 42-52 743 Lavenham Airfield, May the 20th, 1944. He used to say, when we called him Ice Cool, that as his blood began to settle, he'd realise how shit scared each mission made him. When engine number 2 failed and nothing could be seen through corn chowder fog, he ran the country through his mind, noting that we were close to Kentwell Hall. And if we could just turn, gather height, we'd make it to Lavenham. Liège could wait, we'd be back at the Swan, drinking English bitter at sundown. Sweat on his brow, swollen veins, eyes taut with unblinking effort. Come on, gal. Come on, come on. Had there been a breaking of trees, an explosion? Fire ripping through the fractured fuselage, lighting faces slumped at their posts, 3 men stirring, alive, and Ned's screaming, whimpering, silence. We are no longer there in those shattered woods. 70 years of leaf mould covers the scar. Blackbird and blackcap pitch accolades of song to the Whitsun winds, and red comfrey blooms hang crimson heads wherever there is light.
I've not suddenly changed my name to Simon Birdseye, but Simon can't be with us for various personal reasons. He sent this, that the inspiration behind the poem was Audrey's magnificence and source of comforting inspiration, both as a style icon, fellow cancer sufferer and UNICEF ambassador. When times are low, i.e. after chemotherapy and companionship in short supply, images can yet still give us comfort and inspiration, particularly if the subject is one that we can emphasise. Audrey too was a cancer sufferer and ultimately it was fatal, as I'm sure you and others may be aware. Audrey, Simon Birdseye. Every night I share with Audrey, smiling down from high on me, not worthy, a league apart, like loved ones across a timeless sea. Her class and beauty and slender form, from tip of toe to peach blossom head. I take my leave, return her smile, and gently sidle off to bed.
My wife and I have a framed poster of this painting on our bedroom wall, blue nude. Hunched away from us, head cradled in arms, forehead on her right knee, left foot tucked forever, it seems, beneath her haunches, just waiting to be released to see what Pablo's been doing to her. Well, at least everything is where it should be this time. Background, sombre, purple brownish grey, with light top left, which is, of course, where he's put his name. She looks fed up, she thinks. You got that right as well. But has she fared any better here with us, on the same wall for 20 years, overhearing our good fortune, with her haunting ennui noticed less and less? It would be good to think, if we could, that not every noise at night is a floorboard creaking as it shrinks.
Okay, my poems were inspired by sculptures by Alberto Giacometti. I went along to the Sainsbury's gallery they had an exhibition on, and they had several of these sort of male figures, and I was amazed at looking at them that for a very basic sculpture that was obviously made of brass, that they had so much movement in them. You could almost feel them trying to get away. So that was the inspiration for this poem, Restless. The big feet of the tall, thin men ground them as they walk. They are always walking, leaning forward to gain an unreachable momentum. Restless spirits, encased in bronze, in stasis. Only their shadows and dreams escape.
Poetry Aloud's readings come full circle, as my poem is inspired by the same statue of the wolf guarding the head of King Edmund as the poem that Ian read at the start. And as many of you will know, the statue is situated on a roundabout on the ring road around Bury St Edmunds, so it's a well-known landmark. And it's often referred to when explaining to visitors how to drive to the town centre. So I've called it Straight On to Parkway. Wolf. I still smell blood on the squat stones. The moon's thrown a torch to the silver crown. My muscles are taut. My throat lifts to the sky a cry to the gods. I have found your son. Sculptor. Tired of my work, to be truthful. Held this one back till last. Always preferred dogs to men. And who needs kings? My handsome golden beast will be her own wild god, howling our history as we circle a city. Citizen. Why this obsession with a wolf and his king? A town city looking back, slaughtering the past? Or a saintly ancestor, still walking our cobbled streets? There he is, in Abbey Gardens, down by the River Lark, singing us echoes. Okay.